All right, a pleasant good morning to you from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam Show for Monday, September 30th, last day of September. And, well, not going to have much of a show today, although we do have some pretty important games to talk about here over the next few minutes. But I would imagine this will probably be the shortest show of the season. We're here on the new Sports Money Network. I do take 3 days off, usually, actually, right around the All-Star break, and I'll be here come next July. But as far as today's concerned, we got our 2 Monday Night Football games, one good, one not so good, and 2 big Major League Baseball games. Well, maybe one big Major League Baseball game and then another that's going to follow it. It might even be, the script might already be written in that one. So we'll talk about the big doubleheader today between the Braves and the Mets. Let me get squared up here and say hello to everyone in the chat. And maybe I'm just taking my time because we're not going to be here for very long. So enjoy your Monday and enjoy your Monday Night Football. How about last night, though, and yesterday with our great card as well with the NFL games yesterday, and maybe some of those baseball games that we're able to determine what we're doing today with these 2 makeup games between the Braves and the Mets, and also the WNBA last night. We had winners. How about that? In the W yesterday. Yeah, we had premium pick winners with the New York Liberty getting it done against the Las Vegas Aces, thanks to all the subscribers. And we also had the under in the Connecticut and Minnesota game yesterday. And well, we did miss the 2 plays here on the show. We got them wrong, but I do want to make sure I get the premiums right. We can't win 100%, but we're going to win 50%. Better be the ones that I feel are a little bit stronger. Hey, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. And let's go over the chat. I see my partner Dave is in here talking Broncos football yesterday. The worst game, man. That's one game I totally, pretty much whiffed on, no doubt about it. Now, granted, I did have the Broncos yesterday for sure as a play here on the show, but I thought, and bad on me, I didn't think the weather was significant in the game. That's a bad job by your handicapper yesterday, as the weather conditions did wreak havoc with those 2 teams for sure, with those terrible yardage numbers in the first half and what was going on there. So Dave's talking about his football team in there, and he's also ready to go for the baseball game as well. Tom Leach here today. Just, hey, you guys are the true guys here today coming in for this show for sure. Also want to say hello and welcome to Lando. He's here today, of course. And I got Thomas Lewis here, my right-hand man, my Ed McMahon. He's going to make the calls for us today. If we have any, imagine we might be all on consensus here. I don't know what you think of today's games. We're going to find out. Tremaine is here today. Lucky Power is here. Saw Lucky Power last night. I was hanging out over there with Jimmy the Bag and the crew all night for the football games. Had a pretty good run of my prop betting over there with a 6-3 night. So I hope you were able to come on board and check out the show last night as I hung out with the boys and pretty interesting Sunday night game, certainly. We did have the Baltimore Ravens as a premium pick winner last night for sure in that game. And I did have a 6-3 night on some of the props, including Buffalo went 3-1 with Buffalo props yesterday, and we won some other props as well with the Ravens. Even though I tried to fade Derrick Henry, I tried to say that the defense of the Bills were pretty good against the run and could stop. They couldn't stop Derrick Henry at all, but who could stop Derrick Henry? It felt like, but we still won 2/3 of our prop bets over there, plus the big premium pick play with the Baltimore Ravens. But I saw Lucky Power over there in the chat, so it was good to see him over there. And hope all of you are able to join me for that show. I'm usually on there Sunday or Monday nights, sometimes a Thursday night with him over there on those great broadcasts, doing the prop betting. We love that. So I know you guys might want props here. I just don't want to waste your time on such small bets. I mean, prop bets are always going to have limits, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you can get off on some of the bigger props, quarterback props, big yardage props, but hey, no one's taking 2 dimes on a guy to go over 5.5 yards, are they? All right, 1K protection firm here today, and also, let's see, they'll probably all be consensus, Thomas said. And yeah, Tom Leach, hey, did you guys see the video on Vince McMahon, that was it Netflix feature? Rob Reeder are here today. Good morning. And that's it. That's it from you guys. So, hey, I'll have some picks up for you over on the Winnable app today. I'll have a couple premium plays for sure here. I'm going to give you a couple winners. Hopefully we get them right on our games today. And probably going to be hitting you up. We're going to try to predict the doubleheader here a little bit with the Mets and the Braves, but may have to reissue Game 2. Just see what happens in Game 1. I think it's pretty easy to call that I would expect a split no matter who wins Game 1. I would just expect a split in the doubleheader because the team that wins Game 1 will not have any motivation in Game 2. And, they'll be ready to rest. They'll be ready to get going for the playoffs, and that's going to make it a lot easier for the Game 1 loser to win Game 2. I'll explain a little more in just a moment. And so, hey, head on over to Winnable. I'm going to send out a couple plays there. We had some other plays too, and 3-1, and some overnight tennis action last night. That's all I could muster, really, with the card off this weekend. So, be more tennis action tonight. There's one match currently in progress. So, anyways, head over to the Winnable site there, winnable.com, and then my store, if you will, is up there, and we get it. You'll see it right there, and you can scroll down and subscribe to my premium picks here as well. It's on Stripe, so look, I got my picks there for just a couple of bucks today, or you can get my free account right here. Just show you on my phone. It's a lot easier, and it shows you how easy it is with the Apple Pay, the Google Pay, and you can subscribe to the picks and get my updates every day here. I'm going to be here every day, even if there's 4 games. Talk to you about those games and make some picks. But if you want more plays from me after I'm long gone off the air and all the other shows are on, I'm hard at work sending out more plays. So check me out over there. You subscribe and set your notifications and get updates from me all day long. Wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't you want me texting you winners all day long? Anyways, check me out over there. And there you see the tennis we had last night. We sent it out, 3-1 performance there. I think the only one we lost on there was, I think, KK against Alcaraz, I think might have been the one. He lost by 6 games, and we said take him at +5 games. So, okay. Anyways, check me out over there at the Winnable app. Get more plays from me, and that's how you support me. I want to thank everyone that's subscribing right now. If I would have known it was going to be this popular, look, I had a great a couple of years with that other channel, man. I really never thought I'd ever want to leave that, but here we're able to do a little bit more. And if I would have known that you guys were going to be so overwhelming in supporting me, we would have done it a lot sooner. Of course, we needed Sports Money Network and the channel here and everything, but just great to have so much response from everyone subscribing to the free package and those paid packages. And I'm just grateful that I can do it and come here every day. Over there was a little bit different, and here it feels like family. All right, let's get moving with the show. Oh, use the promo code STEAM to save 20% off all of the premium pick packages over there. Okay, do it, you guys. Here's the thing. Not enough people are, hey, I appreciate it if you don't use the promo code, okay? But if you want to sample it and use the promo code, I might make it 50%. That's what I should do. And but not enough people are using the promo code, but I appreciate that. Maybe you guys really deep down are like, you know what, this is such a ridiculous price. Let's just throw Ramon a bone, if you will. All right, let's say hello now. I think people are coming in. I'm really taking my time today because I want to hang out with you. And after I turn off this thing, I mean, not going to have much to go. At least the baseball games start here in a couple of hours. The doubleheader starts in a couple of hours. Keep our eye on that, certainly. All right, see, we got here as well, Philly Eagle Flyer. Here today, our Toms is here. Yes. Hello, our Toms. Missed you. And who else? Robert McCormick. Yes. Got Robert here today. And anyone else? That's it. I think that's it. All right. Gonna get ready to roll this show. Get on out of here and let you guys have a day. But let's talk about our doubleheaders in the NFL and baseball. So doubleheader in both here today. All right. Well, maybe good thing we have two games on Monday night. So if they decide to put a clunker on like this, we have a good game to back it up. But still going to be a close game here tonight when the Titans take on the Dolphins. And well, the Dolphins, we know they have some big-time problems right now at quarterback. They've had to sign Tyler Huntley, who's been basically here in camp for 2 weeks now as the backup for Tua. Tua's gone through some examinations, and I would think every indication is that as soon as his mind is clear and the fog is gone and we all kind of gloss over again that Tua's still going to make it back here and keep plugging along. I mean, he is a quarterback, and you want him to be safe and everything, but that's his job, and he plays with such passion. So, anyways, here tonight we're gonna have Tyler Huntley, the former Ravens quarterback, and a pretty good pickup here, I would think, for the Dolphins, but just so hard to get acclimated no matter what in just a couple of weeks. Yeah, you could work out every day, but think about how teams go through the 3 weeks of practice before the first game, and now you have to do it crunching time here into practices and just getting ready, and probably going to be a disaster here for both teams the way the Titans are going with Will Levis right now. I'm been accused of being a little bit of a Will Levis truther, subscriber, whatever, but not with a guy who has a 3-8 overall record. That doesn't feel real comfortable. And I don't know if anything, the Dolphins should be in their program with Coach Logic a little bit ahead of the Titans and their relatively new coaching program this season. So, man, and just don't want to lay any points here necessarily with the Dolphins, but I kind of want to prefer them here against the Titans today. And, everyone knows this game's going to be a little bit rough around the edges. The Titans, they start slow and they come on strong, and they did a great job winning that, covering that game anyway, and win that game. But they kind of came back a little bit there. But so far, the Titans have been outscored in the second half 48-14. I meant the other way around. The Titans kind of are steady in the beginning and fade in the second half. I'm fading here already, it feels like. Tennessee's had some other issues as well. They've had a couple of punts blocked already this season, and they've had turnover issues so far. So really hasn't looked good for the Titans in their new program this season. They always have maybe a steady defense here, and that'll probably help them in this one. Total of 37. It's going to be hard enough to get to that one, I'm sure, here tonight. going to be painful trying to find the end zone here. It feels like Tennessee just 2-6 against the spread their last 8 tries as a road underdog. The Titans, let's see, they led both games, led 2 games at halftime. That's what it was, and they've done a good job outgaining their opponents so far. It just seems like they're not a team that's able to finish necessarily here. Now for Huntley, he just has a 3-7 career record, and that was with Baltimore. So how effective can he be with this team right now that's lost its identity here at this point, and have had some other issues as well with the skill department. So I would just think you're going to get a low, ugly scoring game here. I'll just take the Dolphins minus 2.5 points in this one. Dolphins were struggling last week on third down, so maybe you can get a guy like Huntley who can use his legs a little bit, keep things moving. Let's see what you got in the chat in this one. All right. And we're going to start it off here with some props here a little bit. And Tom Leach says, take the Titans and go under here. You know what? It might be a one or 2 point game. I just don't know if I want the Titans here at all. But, boy, could it be like 17-14, 19-16, 18-17, some weird score in the teens, it feels like to me. And here's a little prop action from Justin. Achan, did you guys see the comments from Achan talking about the Boise State running back Ashton Genty? And Achan said that Ashton Genty is one of the best running backs in the country, bar none. It's just that he plays in college and not the NFL. I think he was suggesting that Genty, I guess we all could suggest that Genty is going to be a dynamite runner in the NFL. Art Thompson's on the under in this one. And Matt, yeah, look, I got on YouTube yesterday and I talked up Bo Nix. I've got Dave in my ear telling me Bo Nix is going to be the next great quarterback. So I went on a YouTube show and I'm like, you know what? Bo Nix is just one of the most improved quarterbacks. He'll be a great rookie. And then, it really hasn't been there for Bo Nix. Now, I do think that his completion percentage in a few of these games have been very, very solid. They just don't want him to throw it very deep. He throws a brisk ball deep. I wish they were a little bit more aggressive with Nix, but again, I got Dave telling me this guy's the next big thing, and really, look right now, it kind of looks like a flop, but I'm still behind him a little bit. And Thomas says, give me Miami and the under. And let's see what else. Robert's on the Titans here. I'm just taking my time with you guys here today. Dave's on the under. And yeah, Rob, maybe some weird thing, right? Maybe we get like a alternate under here, 31 or something. Or let's see here. Titans and Seahawks teaser here tonight for Tom. How about it? Nasty Nate's here in the house. Don't worry, Nate. We'll be done here. You didn't have to come by today, mate. All right. Thomas says he's betting on Huntley. You know what? I do think Huntley I think he could be the key. I don't necessarily want to go with a quarterback that's been in camp for 2 weeks. You do have, still want to believe in my guy, McDaniels. And this McDaniels, not that McDaniel. All right. Jermaine says Titans will lose them all. Dave says Huntley will cough it up. And if Levis keeps turning it over, I'm glad you guys have a lot of views on this game because Jermaine on the Titans here. Jerry Davis is here today. All right. All right. Thomas says it's a consensus play on the Dolphins. So, all right. That way I can ride with teams. I won't blame Team Steam. I'm going with the consensus here. Really would rather just play this on the money line if I'm going to bet it. to be honest with you. But we do like to give out the spreads here and think of more of a chance of Miami covering this game. But man, it does feel like maybe a 2-point game here tonight. 17-15, 16-14, 19-17. Something right in there that makes it like still on the edge. It feels like a little bit. Old E is here today. Old E was hanging out with us last night over at the PSR show. Great to have Old E. And maybe a few more. Lando says, got the field goal props here. Sure, you got chances for field goals, I guess, in this one, if they can get in the field goal range. Oh, Nate's here in Vegas with me. All right. Are you guys going to breakfast today, Nate? Are you guys going out into a public breakfast? I think I saw that on the itinerary. I didn't make it out. I didn't make it out to see the guys. I just think I'm just so important watching the games. I can't go out and see these people, but I'm really glad they had a great time. Okay. And Jerry says maybe Huntley just takes off running. That's the one thing, right? You're probably going to run a little more if you're not in sync with your receivers. And, how are the Dolphins receivers really prospering this season beyond, when Tua was in there? I would think with, Tyreek, if you just can get it to him here. Look, I think the one area for the Dolphins here, and I'm worried about Huntley and everything, but look, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are the key players in this game. Just find a way to get them the ball, I would think. Hopefully everything's going to be okay with those guys. I would think that's where I'm hanging my hat here. If I had to break it down a little bit more, since we have more time today, I would be playing the props tonight. On those shows, those are the guys I would be talking up, Tyreek and Waddle. I'm not sure I like anything else other than Sanders here. Talk about the field goal props. I certainly like Sanders in the field goal props here tonight. And I think it's a great matchup for these defenses actually right now. So I'd probably try to do something like you guys said, maybe a little bit of a defensive score prop or something like that. And there's not much I can recommend prop wise, I would think, on the Titans here. So I think some of the Dolphins situation, look, the run, Titans can slow the run, I would think for sure, with Achane and what's Mostert's status? Did he even is he even on the injured list? Because I have missed these last 2 games, I know, when he was trying to come back. So I think he's out, right? Are very questionable here. It feels like with Mostert tonight. Yeah, still questionable with that chest contusion. So that's okay. You can rely, I would think, here on a guy like Achane. But I don't like his matchup necessarily. And if the Dolphins think they're going to run the ball, that might actually be playing right in the hands of the Titans. As much as I can promote the Titans here, I think they can slow the running game for sure. And I would just look to continue to pass, hopefully no picks for Huntley, but just get the ball to those 2 guys. They are the difference makers in this game tonight. And if I was going to roll with over props, it would be, I know that's a square call, but I'm not going to roll with any other over props. I'm fading the running backs probably on Miami in this game. I'm fading the tight ends on Miami in this game. All right. Fernandez, it's always going to be too low for Fernando. This game is going to be like 7-0 at halftime, it feels like today. Tom says the Dolphins are fish food. Under's a consensus too for Thomas. We might go double the plays here, it feels like. We need plays, right? The Philly Eagle Flyer, though, does like the over in both games. Just I can't see any good offense coming out of this one, it feels like. All right. See here. I don't know the little bit of – we're going to get into a little soccer today. Not here on the show, but maybe we'll have some plays. There's plenty of time out there, it feels like. All right, enough of this game, you guys. This is the ugly game, and glad we got 50 of you in here today. Let's move on to the better game, shall we? And take a look here at the Seahawks and the Lions. This is a lot better. This is a lot more interesting, especially considering the type of games that these two teams have played over the last few years. These are shootouts, man. What have they had? Averaging like 80 points, it seems like, when these two teams have met here over the last couple of seasons. Now, the Seahawks have really, overshot their projection here for sure with their great start right now with that 3-0 start, winning by 6 points, 3 points, 21 points so far. Now, they haven't played great competition. Look, they were up against Bo Nix. Did I scare Dave away in the chat? They were up against Bo Nix. They were up against Jacoby Brissett. They were up against Skylar Thompson. So now they're going to be up against Jared Goff, and that's going to be probably a little bit different here. The Lions are, certainly a team right now. Yeah, we're having some big-time surprises. We have the Commanders. We have the Vikings. We have the Lions, don't forget. And if anything, with the demise of some of these former powerhouse teams that we were expecting in the NFC that aren't looking too good so far, the Lions are kind of the establishment right now of the teams. Yeah, they haven't made it yet, but it does feel like, hey, hats off to those teams. Maybe the Vikings, well, I think they are for real to a certain extent, right? But the Lions still hold the card of, hey, we've been here a little bit. We have the most experience here. And, hey, Seahawks and their new coach, this has been a great ride, a great run here to come off to a great start. They're 13-8 as against the spread as a road underdog as well. So that's been pretty good. For Gino here, he comes in, he's a winning quarterback. He's not setting the world on fire like he does maybe when he first came to Seattle. He's still 21-18 straight up with Seattle right now. And it's really been the defense for Seattle thus far, allowing just 3 touchdowns on 37 drives so far this season. So the Lions have nearly doubled the output of their opponents so far this season. It seems like last 2 games especially, they've been totally dominant on offense for sure. So also they come flying at the end of the first half. They are always getting some late points, it feels like. Now, Seattle has won the last 5 meetings against the Lions, but I think we know that this has been a different program here at this point. So that's a lot of points, but man, with the Seahawks coming in at 3-0 so far, it does feel a little bit like we've been really good. We've been a little bit lucky in the schedule so far. And, there's definitely the big play threats of Seattle. I think Thomas has been great to keep reminding us of the impact that DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett can have. Metcalf's your he's your home run guy, and Lockett's more of your possession guy a little bit. But where has been Smith and Jigba? Has he been? Let me see his numbers here. Yeah, he had the big game against New England, but then last week, 3 targets. Caught them all, though. And sometimes, just here's some of the little steam for you next week, Auburn and Georgia. We're getting some college football action here right now, so maybe we can rattle these off here real quick with a slow show today. Auburn and Georgia right now taking action to the over right now, 52. We saw the incredible game with Georgia and Alabama last week. Man, that was great. Weekend feature here also. Central Florida and Florida total over 60 right now. We're seeing a little bit of steam coming in within the last few minutes while we've been just rambling here today for sure. I don't even know if the show has a focus. Game for next week, the Packers and the Rams. Game total over 47.5. We saw, the Packers, that was a really rough situation last night. But in the end, and there was a lot of criticism there certainly for Jordan Love, he still ended up with some big numbers in that game. Now was total, come from behind mode. And they almost got that comeback going. Anyways, Packers-Rams, game total over 47.5. Also, the Washington Commanders taking plenty of action this morning. They're going to shoot up over 3, it feels like, in next week's game. The Commanders are on the move here against the Cleveland Browns, showing the Commanders already up to minus 3.5 here against Cleveland here next week. After Cleveland's performance here yesterday against the Raiders. Wow. All right. So for the Lions, look, run the ball. Just run the ball against the Seattle team. I mean, look, Seattle's defense has been pretty good, but I would think right now they're suspect to the run, and that's what Detroit needs to do. I hope they don't get too pass happy here with it. St. Brown, he comes and goes, it feels like sometimes. He's not that number one that we need, it feels like, with Detroit. Those are kind of my issues with this offense moving forward. But against Seattle, you got the guys to run the ball with Montgomery and Gibbs, it feels like to me. That's how Detroit can establish it. I think they'll get away from it. I think that's where the problems with Campbell lie here. Just gets a little bit too happy when maybe needing points, getting into a panic situation sometimes when they have a dominating. I don't know if you're, big on Montgomery Gibbs. It sounds like the guy running the nuclear facilities in The Simpsons. Oh, that's Montgomery Burns. Mississippi and South Carolina getting some steam here right now. Total over. It's going to be heading over 52 points here. Mississippi and South Carolina are seeing some steam for this week's games right now. All right, so I'm not high on the Lions passing game necessarily. If they have to use it out of necessity, now that's a problem. If they can use it with a great complement to the running game, then they will be more effective, and that's when St. Brown will be effective, because I think Seattle's secondary is pretty decent, and I think against the Lions, against guys like Williams here, they can shut them down. My guy Tim Patrick is back too. He's playing on the Lions. He's had a little bit of action here so far. He had 1 catch in the last game. He had 2 catches the day before that. The former Bronco, Tim Patrick, he's fought through 2 years of injuries, man, to get this. I've got to bet him on a prop tonight to reach the end zone. I don't care. Maybe I want to bet his prop just because I love him. And I know he'll have great odds tonight. I've got to see him get a touchdown on Monday Night Football. I got to be honest with you, Timmy Patrick. Come on. But he's got a pretty awful matchup, too, against the Seahawks, it feels like to me. All these receivers do, except for Brown. I'm kind of neutral here with Brown. But, again, I want the Lions to run the football. I think they'll get away from it. They'll make mistakes, and the game will end up being some goofy, high-scoring game. 47, come on, that's not a very high total for what these guys have been kind of doing in the past, it feels like to me. For the Seahawks, they won't be able to run at all. I would not expect them to be able to run at all against the Lions. And if they want to try to, they're going to get turned away. So, you got to have some running game. You've got to make strides and get a little bit of running going to set it up, because the passing game is a great position for the Seahawks, in my opinion, against the Lions. I think Geno's in a hot position here tonight if he can get some complimentary running game with Walker. But I just have big questions. And Charbonnet, I just have questions that they can do that. And I think they'll end up getting into a passing mode, and they might end up going over their props because they'll have to in the passing game. So I actually think that even if I do go with the Lions here, the Seahawks also may end up just having to abandon the run. And they'll have good stats passing, because this will turn into some type of shootout here. It feels like to me, even though there's some defense certainly to report on both sides. So I love DK in this game. I love Lockett in this game. And I'd even go down to some of the other. Smith and Jigba, looking at his numbers and the props, I think they're just set too high. I'm kind of neutral on him, but I might be looking to go a little bit deeper with the Seattle passing game and take take the WR4 a little bit too. As well. So I've got it over here as my pick on the morning steam. For me, that's what I like here is Lions to run, but they'll run big time and successfully as well. And Seahawks get in panic mode and abandon the run and have to pass. Let's get your comments. I've talked long enough here. And see what you have in the Seahawks and the Lions. Started off here. Thomas says Lions and over. Tom's on the Seahawks here in this one. And Jermaine says Goff has dominated the Seahawks here of late. Yeah, his numbers are just so high on the props. So, man, woo. Our Thomas likes taking the points here. Dave says he likes the over in this one. He thinks Seattle's had a little bit of luck so far with this record. And let's see here. Justin's got a prop here with Williams. I think is what he's saying here tonight for Jamison Williams. He flopped last game totally. So I think that's what he's saying on that one. I'm sure it is, right? And let's see here, Matt. Right, right, Matt. Not getting that 5.5. Is that the difference here at this point? It feels like no more of those 5.5 point spread games didn't quite live up to the expectations. Maybe we're getting a little bit of, they teased me a little bit. I was on another show with Keg and Holden yesterday and talking about that 5.5, and like Holden was saying, that can't go on forever. No, it probably couldn't. There should be some regression, but again, I'm starting to see, if you look at the numbers the games are falling on, we always think of the key numbers, right? 3, 4, 6, and 7. Now 5 is becoming a key number. I'm just not making it up. 5 is landing a lot. So I know it does play tricks with you too a little bit because you can only score. Believe it or not, in football, the scoring is done in 3s and 6s and 1s for the most part, and sometimes a 2. All right. Good morning to Darren here as well. And Terrell, you talk about Favre and some of his great numbers there and 3 interceptions though as well. But I went to a game, one of the most memorable games. I'm old, and but one of the most memorable games I've ever attended. We went to. We were actually just going to see a player that played for the Raiders as a rookie, but we wanted to support him and go see him take on the Packers. So we were making a road trip. This had to be, I think the time frame is obvious. So we were planning a road trip to go to see the Packers and the Raiders on a Monday night football game. And if you remember this one, if you're as old as I am, maybe, Brett Favre's father had passed away the day of the game or the night of the game, the day before the game. There was some question whether Brett Favre would play. And I'm sorry about what Brett's experiencing right now, despite his legal troubles. These guys are paying the price for being so gutsy in the pocket. But Brett Favre ended up throwing 4 touchdown passes in the first half the day after his dad died and led the Packers to a victory. We were there to see Raiders tight end Teo Johnson, who we had kind of gotten to know a little bit as a high school player. And, remember, he was one of the few guys, he was a member at Stanford when he played basketball and football. You don't see that. He played both sports in college and was one of the best tight ends in the country and a good forward for the Stanford basketball team. We were going to see him, and Brett Favre had one of the most memorable things I've ever experienced with his performance against the Oakland Raiders in the Coliseum, in the mausoleum that night. Remember that. All right, here's Monty for an anytime TD tonight. I'm on all the Monty props, Darren, for sure. I'm on props tonight. They're going to in this game. They're going to be more offensive. Like I said, the other game, I'm not too interested in anybody except for Hill and Waddle. I feel like, and Sanders. But in this game, I want all the Montgomery. I want all the Gibbs. I think I want more Gibbs than Montgomery. I think his prices are a little better here, maybe. And also on Seattle, like I said, I'm high on Geno. I'm high on Geno. I'm high on DK, and I'm high on Lockett in the props. So I guess that's why I'm going over in this one. All right, Tariq, like under in the first game. Just rolling along here. And there's Dave talking about Tim Patrick, right? Dave and I love this guy. So let's do it tonight. I'm playing Tim Patrick in there. I'm playing him again. You know what? It's Monday night. We don't have a lot of games. Tim Patrick, I can't boost him up right now, especially against Seattle on my numbers. I'm gambling with Tim Patrick tonight. I don't think I'm rooting for him. Okay, I'm putting a prop for him to reach the end zone just because I want to. Don't do it because the other ones, yes. When I'm talking about these other guys, let's play those. I'm recommending them. Those are my plays. I'm playing Tim Patrick tonight, and I want to celebrate when he gets in the end zone just because of it. Not only because he is a friend of ours, but also because of to overcome the injury one time, work your way back up, get healthy again, and then get hurt again, and then to try it again. I mean, what dedication. All right. And let's see. I think Jermaine says in Jigba maybe to get carries there. Maybe they'll work it in a little bit. I don't know. You got a good combination in Walker and Charbonnet. I don't know if that's what Jermaine was saying, actually. Let me just move on there. Okay. Thank you. Oh, there's Jermaine clarifying it there a little bit. Yeah, I've got him neutral here for sure. Again, maybe that's just it. You look at the numbers. Let me see. For Njigba, we already went over it. 3 targets last week, and obviously he was so strong. He had one of the best games there. That 12 catch performance against the Patriots for 117 yards. He was one of the best players of the day for sure that day. Especially given his prices on the props. All right, a few more, and that's it, you guys. We'll just wrap this up. This one's been kind of a rambling show here a little bit, it feels like. And Tariq, that's my concerns too, that Huntley hasn't had a lot of time, has a lot of experience, right? Playing 10 games at starter with the Ravens, that should say a lot. Right. And I was kind of high on Huntley to be maybe a backup type of guy coming out of college. So, all right, Markel likes Seahawks next week. And Jerry says, look, this is what the problem is with Montgomery and Gibbs is the workload. But man, Montgomery last week, 23 carries for 106 yards and 3 receptions. He was a big time star, obviously, last week in the Arizona game. And for Gibbs, 16 carries for 83 yards. Man, if they get those type of running today, that's going to be good enough for the Lions. They will cover if they can run like that and stick to the plan there. All right, so there's Dave talking about that Charger game in Cincinnati. His dad was there. Oh man, what a day that was, huh? Chris Brady here with Walker to go over in his rushing yards today. Wow, that's a good one. If they do, man, I cannot go with that. I think Seattle, to me, I think their rushing defense might be number 1. I don't know if they are statistically, but to the eye test, like I kind of NFL, I like to look at things. So I just think they're just too tough. Now maybe they'll give them a workload here, it feels like. All right, AOD, hello. Thank you for being here. I didn't know there was a Wi-Fi emoji there. And Jermaine talking about those Commanders and Jaden Daniels. Wow. All right, that's it for football, you guys. I'm taking the over in this one. I've got the Dolphins in the other game. We're on a consensus in the other game as well. And I'll have some premiums tonight. So please join me over at the Winnable app. Throw me a couple of bucks. I got some good plays for you over there, and I'll give you some more plays. Thanks, you guys. We just talked an hour on these games. And all right, let's get to the baseball action here with the first game of the doubleheader here in just a couple of. We might still be on the air the way I'm talking today in this one, but you've got here the Mets taking on the Braves here. The Braves' plans are clear. We go with Schwellenbach, and if we don't win, we're coming back with Chris Sale. Now, they might not even need to do that because the team that wins the first game, they're in the playoffs. Win the first game, you're in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. So the second team will have the advantage of just win the second game because the first team is already in. They don't care. And the team that will be out will be the Arizona Diamondbacks. For the Arizona Diamondbacks to make the playoffs, they need one of these teams to sweep. I don't think that's going to happen. Look, I'll give you the playbook. Whoever wins the first game, fade them in the second game or take the other team. Because the other team is going to be, we're playing on this Monday situation. The Mets especially, they've been traveling all around. The Braves have been home. So I think that, if anything, says it right there. I'm going to give out the Braves in this game. Schwellenbach has been good. He's been fine. Hey, McGill's been good too. This is going to be, pretty good game. But again, I don't know. It's almost like one of those the gentleman's agreement a little bit too, right? Let's not go all overboard because you might win Now, there's going to be some luck involved. There will be guys in there pitching in the next game where, they're looking to make a point here moving forward. But it does feel like to me the team that loses the first game is going to win the second game. First of all, Major League Baseball doubleheaders are often splits, believe it or not. So I'm just going to take the Braves here at minus $1.60. It's a pretty high price, actually, but I just think the Braves have been it's only $1.45 really in most of the books. I just had that up there from last night. I couldn't wait to type it in after seeing the matchups and understanding exactly what's going to happen here. It feels like with this doubleheader. So I think Schwellenbach is the better of the two pitchers right now. At this point, he's got a 3.5 ERA this season. He's gone under in 16 of his 20 starts this season. McGill's gone under in 9 of his 14 starts this season. So I think the first game will be it'll be hotly contested, I would think here, but I'll still take Schwellenbach minus $1.45 or so in this one as my play here on the show. And we'll send out the play for game 2, but I can tell you it's going to be whoever didn't win game 1. That's going to be the play. Again, maybe the Braves, if they win game 1, they'll luck into the other one. They don't have to start Chris Sale in the second game if they win the first game. They'll go with some bullpen game, not even worried about it, just ready to get on the road and go, to the next round. Meanwhile, the Braves. Now, the thing is, if the Braves lose game 1, they're expected to go with Sale. They don't really, I don't know if they even need to. They may even reassess here because, look, you make the playoffs, you want Chris Sale in game 1, it feels like. So why, worry about it here? You want to win or whatever, but the Mets are going to call off the dogs if they win game 1. So it does put them in an interesting situation here today. I don't know if it's so much more of a handicap as it is a, storyline narratives, if you will. All right. Oldie, thank you for gifting a membership there to someone. That's the one thing I don't know how it works here necessarily. All the channels have it, but I'm new here to the Sports Money Network. We never had that. So I am a member on a lot of channels, certainly. I'll try to be members on all of them if I can. I think my membership is more expensive. Membership to all these channels is more expensive than my subscriptions to all these streams. Joe Alvarado, good morning. Chosen One, nice to see you, Chosen One. How you been? Got the under in that one. And maybe the K prop for Schwelly and go under here in this one. Jerry might buy it up to 8. I might too, want to win this one. Thomas likes the under. Tariq's on the under. It's going to be a consensus under, it feels like. Got some prop action from Justin. I think 1K is on the under. And R. Thompson on the Mets in game 1. 1K on the Braves. Tommy Leach with a SGP here. And want to thank Dave for a super sticker. Thanks, Dave. Way to support the channel. Awesome. And Subhumans here today. Check it out. We had a great time over the weekend. I watched the guys on Saturday with that UFC card. Man, the fights, you loved it. The fights were coming fast and furious. We didn't have any, there were 14 fights. The guys were like, we don't have any time to preview these fights. Usually the cards are about 12 fights. There were 14 that night. So there weren't, unless there were some knockouts or something. Hey, Oregon's getting steamed right now, you guys. The Oregon Ducks this weekend, right now, they're going to go north of 24. So just to get you on that a little bit, if you're looking to play the Ducks here this weekend, they're taking some steam here right now. They're one of the Friday games this week. They're taking on Michigan State, and they're up to 24.5 right now at Bet Online. And so that one's on the move here this morning here on the Morning Steam. And, oh, yeah, no doubt, Jerry. McGill has been a lot better. I think that's why he's, other than the situation the Mets are in, they were still contemplating how they were going to approach it late last night when they decided. And Jermaine says, how can they put their playoff hopes? That's the thing, Jermaine. Like I said, it looks to me like if the Mets lose, and again, I don't know, there's some speculation and there are some good beat writers out there. To me, if the Mets lose, then they come back with Severino in this one. So maybe you're thinking maybe Severino should have been going here in game 1. But again, I think it is, look, if I'm sitting here and I'm just some, the YouTube in the box, I know I've got a big chance in the second game no matter which team I am, it feels like. So I think it would be Severino in game 2 should the Mets lose that game. Braves under. We're talking game 1 really only here right now. Again, my pick is going to be certain. Unless there's some, I don't even know what it would take to get me off of the loser of game 1 to win game 2. That's going to be automatic. That will probably be the play. And if you want to go with it right now, do so. I'm not picking one or the other here at this point in this doubleheader. One of the most interesting doubleheaders we've seen of all time. Here's Thomas on Atlanta. Jermaine thought the Braves were dead, but Justin said, don't count out my Braves. And Dave, Dave at the Arizona to get in, they need one of the two teams to sweep. They are rooting for a sweep. And imagine that. You've got to be going like, there ain't going to be no sweep here in this one. And Atlanta's our consensus play here for game 1 of the doubleheader. And like I said, Braves win game 1, I'm on the Mets in game 2. Mets win game 1, and I lose this play, I'm taking the Braves in game 2. All right. I think that's it for the show, you guys. I want to thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome today. We got 75 of you in here. Imagine if we had some games to talk about. We passed along a little bit of steam. There is some soccer action today. We've got Southampton and Bournemouth. I'm going to come with some premiums, and I should have been better. I just was recouping from the weekend a little bit and doing the show last night with those guys. So appreciate you all, and we'll get out of here. Let me just scroll through a little bit and see the few more people here. Skunt Blaster is here. Yes, and he's got us a soccer play. There you go. I'm going to write it down right now. He's saying take Bournemouth and under here at a juiced up or a juiced down 3.5 for a nice return there. The total on the game is about 3.25. So buy it up there a little bit and get it under 3.5. And taking Southampton here. I'm sorry, taking Bournemouth, of course, the favorite in this game. They're $2 on the three-way. They're minus a goal here, but take them on the money line. Pair it up with the 3.5. Thank you, Skunt. It was awesome to have Skunt last night on the stream, and I think we'll be seeing more from Skunt. That was so cool yesterday. Thanks, R. Toms. I feel like we were just sitting here today. I was like, it's funny. I was, preparing for the show a little bit today. Not really. I was watching some tennis. I was watching some other stuff. I was watching goofy videos. All right. Philly Eagle Flyers got his tied in the second. I'll never figure out this bet. That's it, Oldie. This is the day you take a break. Even I've got to shop. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to do normal. And where's Nasty Nate? Am I supposed to go somewhere for breakfast with the crew? Let me know. I gotta call them up, or I gotta figure that out here. Hopefully I don't fall asleep. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for everything. Dave always wants you guys to check us out over on nobody's going to look, we're just in a high school coverage in our local area. So, but if you want to see Dave on camera talking football, go to those sites that Dave has promoted a little bit in the chat. I couldn't do that in the other channel, but Dave and I actually do high school football coverage. We went to rival schools and we team up every week to talk about all the games in our area. There's like 15 schools where we are, where we grew up. And we've been doing this all our lives, and we still do it today. Talk about the kids, promote the kids. We get them on the air. We interview them from the team bus. A team will win, guys. Listen to this. It's just a great thing that Dave has come up with. The team is coming home. The high school team just won on the road. We actually send them the link, they always say send the link like this on these shows now with this StreamYard software. And then we just get the kids on our phones and we're interviewing them on the bus. The other night, the team that we were following, they had won a game and they were at In-N-Out. And they were ordering doubles and talking to us, and we were asking them questions about the game. It really, man, what we do here is important, where our bankrolls are important, but what Dave and that's important. All right, Tom, thank you. And hey, if it shows you anything about Dave and myself, we're all about the game. I mean, a lot of people come on these streams, and there it is. Thank you, Dave. We pick the games each week. All right, thank you, Thomas. There are the plays. Thank you, Keith. And that's right. Look at that. Interesting to see Keith there. Did they get it backwards? And you know what? Well, I think it's pretty much set in stone at this point, but it did feel like there was still maybe a possibility they could switch it up a little bit. Fernando, thank you for subscribing to the channel and becoming a member here on the Sports Money Network. How about it? And, Philly Eagle Flyer, I didn't want to miss his plays here with Bournemouth. Also, don't forget other action as well. He's got Villarreal and La Liga action against Las Palmas, and Ajax and PSV here on a little bit of BTTS. All right, and what else did we have today? Let's see. One from the EPL, one from Italy, and a game in Spain here as well. All right. Thanks, you guys. And Fernando, thank you so much, Fernando. Man, I'll just sit here and try to help get this channel going. You guys are so generous today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Marianne Woods, hello. Thank you. All right. So while everybody's here, then let me just say, hey, you can follow me over at the Winnable app. The way you support Ramon is follow me over there, subscribe to my picks. I'm going to send you a bunch of premium picks here throughout the week. It's like $20 a month right now, and use the promo code STEAM, and you'll get plays sent directly to your phone. Maybe too often, I don't know. You can set the notifications though, and I see on many of the posts that I make on the free channel, we're getting over 100 views on those games right now. This platform has been awesome. to use for me, and it's all protected by Stripe. That's probably nowadays the major payment processor in the world, it feels like, or at least in the United States, for services like this and for other things too. Not just information and subscriptions, but buying things and things like that. So you can trust it. It's all the e-commerce is powered by Stripe, and that is just not like Visa, right? Where they had a monopoly on everything, got in trouble here. It looks like they're going to owe everybody a bunch of money, or at least those other companies. I don't know. All right, gang. Thank you so much again. Subhumans is on Bournemouth and under 4.5 and plus 1.5. Oldie, thank you as well. Thomas says, you know what? There weren't enough, as I think he's saying there's not enough games today, and now he's still going to be bored a little bit here. And Thomas says, you know what? I'm from the 70s. I'm old school from the 70s. So, we'll just play it by ear all day. Thomas and I, when we watch the World Series together, we're going to do our own live stream when Cleveland plays the Padres. You better be ready, Thomas, to click on that link and get on the air. We'll have Dave. We'll have anybody else who wants to come on. Maybe we'll get Ixniz from Cleveland also to join us. And 1K protection. Hey, 1K, you know what? I usually try to get everything in before maybe 1 hour to a half hour. Hey, if I have to come in with late action, have the notifications set. But, I'm a one-man show, so usually the early games I try to get out right after the show. I go to work on it. It's a good day to talk about this stuff, probably, but I get to work on it and then send out the stuff, send out the plays there. Again, I've got premium picks on the major sports mostly, and then I'm also sending out a bunch of other sports that I like to handicap. And maybe we should put the tennis behind a paywall, because we've had a lot of winning cards over the since we've been starting to roll in tennis a little bit on this platform. So, all right. Thanks, you guys, for everything. And I stuck around here for an hour with you, or you stuck with me for an hour here today. We'll be back tomorrow with a full-on show, including the Major League Baseball playoffs. Certainly tomorrow, Detroit at Houston is at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific, with Framber Valdez going for Houston. I don't think we really know officially what the Tigers are going to do. Maybe they'll just do what they've been doing. And also later on, the games will be overlapping a little bit. That'll be fun. In baseball, it's fine. So game 2, 4:08 Eastern, 1:08 Pacific, Kansas City with Cole Reagans going up against Baltimore and Corbin Burns. And then we'll find out how it's going to shake down, who's going to take on the Milwaukee Brewers, who's going to take on the San Diego Padres. Remember, whoever, if these two teams do shake out here as expected, like I said, Arizona needs that sweep. So that's what's going to, determine it here a little bit. If the Mets win the first game, the Braves win the second game. The Braves are the number 5 seed. They'll go to face the Padres as the number 4 seed. The Mets, the number 6 seed, will take on the number 3 seed, the Milwaukee Brewers. So that's the same no matter what. If it's a split, if the Mets win both games, New York is the number 5. They'll take on the Padres. The Diamondbacks will be number 6, and they'll take on the Brewers in a rematch of that wild card series. Remember. And if the Braves win both games, Atlanta will play the Padres, and the Diamondbacks will be the number 6 seed, and they will play the Milwaukee Brewers. So I hope I got that all square for you, and we'll preview those games certainly tomorrow. And don't forget, more WNBA playoffs tomorrow night as well, after we saw the results there from last night. We already know it'll be the Aces and the Liberty favored by 4, once again, 163.5. The Lynx favored by 4.5. 151.5. All right, gang. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you tomorrow with more Morning Steam. Don't forget today, 6 p.m. I think he's going to be there, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. He'll be previewing Monday Night Football. I imagine even Mikey might have a tough time getting off the air. 2 games, 1 hour. I predict the over. So keep talking to Mikey, keep him on the air here with pre-gaming, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Sports Money Network. For the Sports Money Network, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you, and so long.